when you're in pain, soothing as a springtime rain, to have a friend right in your corner. Your heart will feel a little warmer. Tender loving care, tender loving care. Each warm and friendly touch lets someone know you care so much. Tender loving care, tender loving care.
Good evening. I'm Dr. Greenbrier Almond, and thank you for joining us on our program, Tender Loving Care. Each week, it's a wonderful part of my life for the past 35 years to highlight some great people and some wonderful events here in Buchanan, and tonight's no exception. And I'd like to welcome Mary Allbaugh. Mary?
Nice to be here.
We decided to put you in the middle,
Yeah.
the rose between the thorns.
Okay.
And CJ Ryan. CJ, welcome.
Hi,
Rollins.
how you doing?
It's good to have you here, and we have a very special project coming up this fall with Create Buchanan, and I want you to meet and know the folks here. You probably already know, but there could be some 23,000 people watching tonight, and some people even from Lost Creek or over in Randolph County, and folks may not know you all. So, Mary, tell us just a little bit about your role in this project and in Buchanan.
Thank you. I am the post adjutant with the American Legion here in Buchanan, and very active in our Americanism and our children and youth programs, and have always been a behind the scenes kind of worker, I guess. I try to be as best I can, and supporter of Create Buchanan, because I know that what they've done in Buchanan is wonderful. But we're planning this year's Veterans Day.
Okay.
Okay.
And that's November the 11th.
November the 11th. That's right. And we want it to be the best Veterans Day ever. And because of a new project that Create Buchanan has started, we've gotten permission from the city to change the parade route and have it end over at Jawbone Park.
Okay.
Where this really special program that they're doing is going to bring attention to all the veterans.
Okay,
and,
well, good.
And not just those veterans that are members of the American Legion and the DAVs and the VFW, but all veterans of the community and veterans of people who live in the community. Okay, they're family members. Okay.
Excellent. Well, we want to hear a lot more about that. And CJ, I always know that you are announcing something like come to the restaurant and meet one lunch or something, and ideas are welcome. And tell us a little bit about your role in Create Buchanan and, of course, in this project.
Well, years ago, when we were part of the Planning Commission, working on the comprehensive plan, we were meeting every Tuesday at 5:30, I believe, and for a couple of years, actually, and the development of that plan. And then once we presented it to the city, we felt we needed another entity to begin to initiate and facilitate the goals and objectives that came out of the plan. And after a meeting with Jeff James, who was one of the Create West Virginia founders, we decided, we asked him, how do you do it? He said, just start it. So the next day we started it. We're a non-structured, non-legal entity. It's just a group of concerned citizens that try to hold an inclusive community conversation on a weekly basis. And
which is a great way to do it, isn't it? I mean, because people have it always fresh in their mind, and
there's no worrying about whether it's the first or the third or whatnot. It's every Thursday, and it's where everyone's ideas are important. We'll discuss them all. Anyone can bring their ideas, and we try to take action, because ultimately, until the people that come to sit at the table get up and actually go do something, it's just talk. So we try to take as many actions as we can.
Well, having grown up in a home where mom and dad were very civic-minded, and always had ideas. I've seen things blossom, and I've seen things that flopped. I mean, we tried one time to build a swimming pool at the up at the 4-H camp, youth camp, which is a tremendous facility, and we tried to pass a levee, and that failed and failed and failed, and finally Dad attached having people give a donation while they were protecting themselves from polio, which was a sugar cube. They would have to line up and take the sugar cube treatment for polio. And of course the pool was to prevent people from getting polio and swim in the river. And anyway, they got about enough $3,000, enough for a swimming pool. And so you try different ways, and then you see something work. And Create Buchanan strikes me that it's like that. But we have a good idea right now, don't we? What is this first idea toward Veterans Day now?
Well, I attended a meeting at City Hall, and it was based on the disappointing presentation our community made this past July 4th. And,
Okay.
And you know what? I don't think it represented our community well, and or the way it really thinks or feels. So
Right.
we thought, how do you promote patriotism or a visual cue that would indicate
Sure.
that? So someone emailed me something from a town in Mansfield, Pennsylvania.
Okay.
And it was a banner similar to what you see right here
Okay.
that they hung on the light posts in and around their city.
Okay.
Then I saw some other ones in Cannonsburg, Pennsylvania, and we started talking about it. And how do we hometown heroes? So we thought a little different take on it would be to list the head words in the Constitution, we the
Right.
people.
We the people. Right. And we just had Constitution Day, didn't we? Thanks to Senator Byrd. I think it's September the 17th. And all of us need to honor the Constitution, don't we? And use it, make reference to it all the time.
Yeah, we need to at least understand what it
Right.
is and what it's
Right.
saying. So,
So you honor that at the
Yeah.
top. Uh-huh.
Yes, and the image of the person, which to me is the most important thing, the name and the person. We talked about rank and medals and everything else, and it just, of course, we started this 2 months before Veterans Day,
Right.
so it came from initial idea to
Fruition,
in
yeah.
progress to in about 6 weeks.
And you have an image here today, and some of you may recognize Robert Marple as a young man, but went on to have an esteemed career, having worked with his wife up at Rock Cave for a number of projects, including the Tri-County Health Clinic. And he ran the post office, and I think they had a store and had fine children. And so here we are. Someone's taking the time to honor him and his
Yes.
service in the Navy.
But on a greater point, what we are trying to do is to make the connections with these people and their families in a centralized location where, the promenade at Jawbone Park, where you'll be able to walk down and see and converse and talk and learn something you probably didn't know, but more importantly, talk with other people in the community and make connections, and the stories
Right.
you've told me, have impact. I remember them, and now you have a face and a name.
Yeah.
And the
Well,
more
that'd be great.
the more that we can go out in our community and talk with each other.
And I would speak
better.
just to my class, and we had the privilege of graduating close to 300 graduates in 1966. And I think Steve Brown, our class president, said it well. He said that no one had to be drafted out of Buchanan to fight the Vietnam War. Probably had about 100, 150 guys go. And so we're getting a 65th birthday, but it strikes me that as we celebrate our birthday here in another week or two at the homecoming game of the high school, we should get involved in this project and honor our own
Yes.
who are still part of our community.
We'll make sure you have these available
Okay.
when you come to have your
Yeah, we'll have a
gathering
banquet at the American
at
Legion
the American
Hall.
Legion Hall. We'll make
Yeah.
sure
You
they're
know,
there.
a lot of veterans are humble about their
Right,
service.
right.
Service, yes.
And maybe it takes a family member, that has the photographic image or whatnot. and it's doesn't matter, where
Right.
how we get them to this
Mhm.
point, but to be part of it, they've earned it, they've sacrificed their
Absolutely.
time and effort, and I know in my case, the mental scars left from serving can
Mhm.
last a lifetime.
Absolutely.
And it changes people, and I just I think they need to be honored.
So this is our opportunity then in Buchanan to do something this Veterans Day, and
Veterans
there's
Day.
going to be more. It's going to be a big celebration. There's going to be a parade.
We're going to
new
have a parade
route. What's
a new
going to
parade
happen there?
route. We're going to have. Well, first of all, you were talking about building that swimming pool.
Yes, up at the
Okay.
youth camp.
Well, we're not looking for money.
No, okay, no
Okay,
money.
we're not
okay.
looking for money.
And it's not a fundraiser.
And it's not
Okay,
a fundraiser.
okay. See, that's great. Yeah.
What we're looking for is to get people involved within our community
Mm-hmm.
to show their respects and how proud they are of their family member who served in the
Mm-hmm.
military. And that's what we want. We want this, when I said I want to make this the biggest and the bestest Veterans Day parade ever, that's what I'd like to have. Lots of military vehicles
Mm-hmm.
and the service members, and they don't have to be a member of any veteran organization.
Okay.
Just anybody out there. Because, there's a lot of people there's a lot of veterans out in Upshur County that
Absolutely.
are not members of our veterans organizations.
I'll tell you a little story about that. When I was working at the VA and we were wanting to help the veterans who may have PTSD, and there are many veterans who've moved here from other parts of America, and in fact it became known that down at Gasaway, where the VA at that time had no presence, we had no clinic or anything, there were 5,000 combat veterans living in the woods around Braxton County, and that included Webster County. Well, we now have a clinic at Flatwoods to serve those veterans, but those men and women didn't want to be known. They were out there hiding out in a
right.
peaceful way, just minding their own business. And but this is an opportunity in a quiet way. They can show up for this parade. A family member could be watching the TV tonight and say, "Hey, I want to honor Dad or
My
my
grandpa
brother, my
or
grandfather,
my aunt.
uncle."
Not
my aunt."
everybody's
Oh,
men
that's
in
right.
the military. You got women in there
Yeah,
too.
that's right. By the way, you're a good example.
And the other thing is too that this is Veterans Day,
Okay.
and there's a big difference in Veterans Day.
Right, let's make that point.
Let's
because
make that
people
point.
get
That's
confused
good.
about Memorial Day and
Yes.
Veterans Day.
Veterans Day is an opportunity for the families and members of the community to celebrate the bravery and sacrifice of
Okay.
all United States veterans.
Okay.
And they confuse that with Memorial Day, but Memorial Day is to remembrance of the military person who was killed in the line of duty. And there's a
Right.
big difference.
Right.
But a lot of us will go on Memorial Day to grandma and grandpa and brothers and sisters and their children or whatever. And so Memorial Day has left out the real meaning of a Memorial Day, because I can tell you when we have our Memorial Day service at the cemetery here in Buchanan, we have 5 people, 2 people
Oh
there.
my goodness. Yeah.
Yes, it's really sad.
Yeah.
So CJ got it right earlier, and he was saying that we want to increase the little red line that goes up on patriotism here in Buchanan.
Sure.
And
We have it in our heart, but
Yes.
it just has to come out, right?
Right.
We had one time I had a request, and Dad and my wife, when we had our office open here, they folks from Hemlock, where we have a farm, came down and they said, we'd like to have a contribution, not about money, but they wanted to buy American flags and put on the graves at Memorial Day, and up at Hemlock. And we I said, well, how much is a flag? And they said like $1, I think, something like that. So we said, sure, we can do that. And they said, how many folks buried in the little cemetery high on the mountain in Hemlock are veterans who gave their life for our country?
Right.
It was over 100 people.
that's right.
Amazing.
Mount Union.
Yeah.
Yeah. I've been to both on
Yeah.
Veteran Days.
Mount Union, our high school band, Saul Fisher, our band director, used to take the whole band out to Mount Union. And I didn't know much about Memorial Day, but we'd all go out there and we'd perform music. And it would be a huge crowd. And we did learn that there are many people who gave their life for our country.
Right. And you mentioned the, and when we want to thank the city for allowing us to have a parade route that's going to
Oh, yeah.
bring our veterans. We're lining up at the same place there at Gibson Library. The morning will start, or the date will start with the Elks Lodge, 1736. They traditionally provide a free breakfast for the veterans.
Okay.
And that'll start at 7:30, from 7:30 to 9. At 9:30 is lineup, starting at the Gibson Library. And there's one requirement that we're asking. We want everybody to have an American flag,
Ah, good.
okay? And children and youth groups, or any kind of group who wants to participate in the parade, we have contact information for them.
If like Troop 128 I work with.
Yes, yes.
They if they're going to march, they want to show the American flag as they march.
Yes, yes.
Okay,
And
good.
and some of the little twirlers, and of course Buchanan High School band's going to be in the parade, and we have a young friend of ours who's at the middle school. Her name is Katie Dickey. She's got quite a beautiful voice, and she's going to sing she sang at the national anthem at Flag Day, and she sang recently too at the Patriots Day at
Okay,
Walmart.
so you can tell if you're listening in and following this is going to be quite a ceremony. So circle November the 11th. Plan to be downtown about 9 o'clock.
If you're a veteran and you and your
Come
family
for
want
breakfast early, yeah.
come for breakfast early. If you have any questions about the times and signing up to participate in the parade, you may call myself, Mary Albaugh, at 304-460-7377.
And we're going to try to scroll that information on the
Okay.
TV, right? We're going to give it
Right.
to the studio here. So, and this is just the warm up. There'll be more announcements about this.
Yeah, and then Robert Post, who's our American Legion Americanism chairman.
Okay.
And he's 304-472-0065. And then
Great.
and
And
see-
I hope that Mr. Shreve is in his uniform, his World War II uniform.
Calvin, yes.
Calvin Shreve.
Yes.
It's amazing that he can wear that and looks good in it.
And we really need to talk about the application for people who want to get a banner.
Okay, right.
Okay.
Yeah, it takes a little while to make a banner. So what do we need to do?
We should have up until the end of this month.
Okay.
And we really, all we need is the name of the individual, the honoree.
Okay.
The branch of service, whether it's Army, Navy, Marines, Coast Guard, Air Force, and if there was an earlier conflict like the Civil War, maybe we can come up with a different symbol for the for that individual. And the form's pretty
tell you-
self-explanatory, and you can fill it out and return it. If you have a photographic image, if it's not digital, we can handle the photograph and get it transferred. And I think we're up to this point, we've had about 50 signed up, and we have room for 220. But we
Wow.
could also could be modified. We could hang them a little differently, and we are co-sponsoring this with Kappa Alpha Fraternity on Wesleyan campus, who has been a big help with us in our other projects, planting the trees at Jawbone Park, painting all the poles, the light posts in downtown. And,
Okay.
and it was kind of, you talk about connections, and while you're sitting there painting and I'm talking to someone I probably wouldn't normally be engaged with,
Sure.
and they were looking at a way to how to affect and change the attitude about college students or fraternity guys in the community, which is a little mature for that age.
That is. That's a good
didn't-
thought. That's a good thought.
I didn't think about that, and so they're going to help us put these up and take them down and store them, and hopefully maybe other days of the year, Memorial Day or July
Yeah,
4th.
this is on a plastic material, so it can get wet and then be used
Yes.
again,
Oh, yeah.
dry off. And it's interesting that you mentioned different services. And my dad was part of the Army Air Corps,
Right.
and he served for over 8 years and throughout World War II, and then into the recovery and occupation time in Japan. Anyway, it came time to be discharged, and they asked him. They said, Captain Almond, do you want to be discharged from the Army or from the Air Force? Because they had divided. And he thought about it, and he said, well, maybe the Air Force has a little bit more class. Anyway, when he got his paperwork, it said discharged from the Army.
Oh.
So sometimes you never know what's going to happen when you're in the military.
Yeah, you got to take what you get.
That's right. He got discharged, honorable discharge. He got home.
That was probably the most important
That's
thing.
right.
To get home. Did we talk about the flags on Main Street now?
No. You mentioned that the 4th of July was sort of a low water mark, and then you
Yeah.
wanted to do something to decorate. So
Right.
tell us about the flags.
Well, what we did is we went to City Council or to the Consolidated Public Works Board to ask permission to provide those.
Okay.
And went to the city and talked with them about it. So anyhow, they gave us the permission to purchase them. So the American Legion Post 7 and the Women's Auxiliary Unit 7 went in together and purchased the flags and the poles and the brackets. And the city agreed to put them up.
Okay.
And then they're going to stay up, though. They're going to stay up until, and then they'll let us know when they need more flags and replace them. So,
So it'll be up through Veterans Day.
they'll be up as long as those flags are within
okay.
a good
Perpetually.
perpetually.
That is
yes.
a wonderful way to remember that we are a free nation. We have
Right.
brave souls who fought and died that we can stay free.
Hey, and maybe we could get some of those Wesleyan students to help me put flags out off the interstate.
Doesn't hurt to ask.
No.
I mean, they
No,
haven't.
that's right.
They've
There's a
got-
lot of the students have attended our meetings and supported our causes. We've co-sponsored some things.
Yeah.
It's been a very positive.
Right.
For me, remembering my college days, my community engagement was, so it's a different.
Yeah, actually, there's these kids are striking a very noble trend here. There was an article recently that said that we did have the greatest generation, the World War II generation. It was written about that way. That these kids, have a chance to be the greatest generation again. I mean, they've come through big, hard times. The greatest downturn we've had since the Great Depression. It's going to be harder to get a job. And, of course, the values that we all hold dear, they've grown up with those, but they're taking this seriously, aren't they?
Yeah, I think so, and I think technology is helping in a lot of ways and simplifying things. But
Right.
Yeah, I'm surprised to see that element of
Nobility.
contribution to the
Yeah.
community and engaging on things that are sustainable and whatnot. So it's
Right.
They're in a learning mode there, and I think it's great that they help out because when they graduate and move on, maybe that'll encourage them
Right.
to get involved in their own community.
I've been very impressed, and I serve on the school board also, but a year ago, we had over 800 years of experience leave the school system at one time at the end of June a year ago. This June, another 800 years of experience left the school system as teachers retired, spent their life here. But let me tell you, these young teachers are great.
they have a little more passion and
Passion and they're serving well. The performance of the students is going up. I mean, and nothing against the other people; they served well too. But we need not worry. I mean, these are great kids. As Buchanan is a great place, right?
Yes, it
because
is.
of the college and so many things.
I think it's more.
yeah, and it's primarily people make
People.
the place.
People.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
And it's been amazing to realize how much more can get done with less effort if everyone is working together on the common best interests of
Right.
the community, and that's refreshing. It's effective, cost effective, and
It works.
Once it starts working, you can
Right.
build a little inertia or
Right.
momentum, and branch out and connect
Yeah.
with more people and groups, and I think Buchanan is held up across the state as something's happening here, something's going on, people are working together, and that's not normal.
No, that's right.
But we'll keep it positive.
We have just to talk about school issues, but there's 12 counties that come together for a regional education meeting every month, and we have them come to Upshur County 1 month, and invariably, the superintendents and school board members from 12 counties around us will comment very, very favorably about Buchanan. And they say, well, this is a clean place. This is spiffy. This is great. You know, it may be the 20,000 flowers. It may be other things. But we do have a community that works well together.
Yeah, it's a lot of things. You
A
know,
lot
it's
of
never
things.
one thing, but
No.
all these elements, and the more elements we build, these little touches, the little things start telling a different story.
Festival Fridays, Forensic Mondays.
Okay. Yeah.
You know,
Little free libraries.
little free libraries.
Yeah.
There's a lot.
So if we keep working on that, we can increase that level of patriotism also within our
The Stockard
community.
Youth Center.
Stockard Youth Center is
We've wanted
far away.
that for years. Now we have a good youth center. Yeah, you know, it's an exciting thing. We have a few more minutes here, but let's touch on these banners one more time, because folks may be listening. They may say, "How can I do this?" You're asking them to supply a picture and the basic data. Do they have to buy the banner, or is someone else in the community buying the banner? I mean, there's some cost to putting something
There's a $50 cost, and
Okay,
I think
okay.
that just covers the costs of the banner. This
Sure,
is not a fundraiser.
that's a real expense.
Although we are working on another option that may be a little downsized, a different grade of vinyl put on a poster board or something else that would be, you would be able to frame it at home. And we haven't got that worked out yet, but I would say by Veterans Day, all this stuff will be stored digitally and could
Sure.
be printed out in any number of ways.
Right.
And we hope to come up with one where they can have this image also. But we want to store these and roll this out multiple times a year, and maybe this Veterans Day they might be up for 4 or 5 days. So you could walk down there. You know, the lights are on all night, I think, and have a private stroll or
Right.
or
You know, it might become the most visited place in all of our county. I mean, you know, actually
it's a focal
honoring.
point.
Yeah,
Joblin Park is.
yeah. The Vietnam Memorial has become that in Washington D.C.
Yes.
You know, a very simple way to honor those who gave everything. And here we're going to have these banners down where the farmers market is, right in that area, and so people can come out on Veterans Day, get the parade, come chat, spend time at the park.
Come to the special program after the parade.
Okay.
but to learn about people from that have local connections that served in the military.
There you
It
go.
could be years gone by, they could be past, but you know their presence is still here, and to bring that back to the people
Right.
and the visitors, and just like you recognize this gentleman and knew he
Absolutely.
was a postmaster.
Yeah.
Those connections that are lost are what hold us together.
Right.
And he was in the Navy.
And that's a good brand.
Yes, it is.
Okay. Well, this is an exciting time for Buchanan. I hope that you will respond. You call the numbers suggested. Mary, give your number one more time.
Okay, I'm going to give my number 304-460-7377.
And is that the American Legion
That's
Post?
American Legion Post
American
number.
Legion Post.
And then for the banner itself, 304-472-1757.
Okay. And if you didn't catch that, still call the American Legion, get more
Yes.
information. And come out in Buchanan, downtown, anytime. Stop in at CJ's, right? Absolutely.
Sure, or anywhere else you might like to go.
Sure. And then until the next time, this is Dr. Greenbrier Allman thanking you for joining us on our program, Tender Loving Care. What a wonderful community we live in. I hope that we will enjoy it, particularly this Veterans Day coming up and this banner project. We'll see you next week.
Stories of a West Virginia Doctor, written by Dr. Harold D. Allman. a collection of 55 short stories about his experience as a small-town doctor in central West Virginia. And Tender Loving Care, Stories from a West Virginia Doctor, Volume 2, written by Dr. Greenbrier Allman, using videotapes to write 70 additional stories of his father's very colorful life as a small-town doctor. They can be found for purchase at Amazon.com and most local bookstores. Tune into Channel 3 Buchanan for Tender Loving Care with Dr. Greenbrier Allman, where he talks about the connection between Christianity and medicine.